My name is Xiao Zhang, a freshman in Rongcheng University. Because of the poor family conditions, doing a part-time job in a funeral home in a suburb, to put it bluntly, is to put makeup on the dead. People nowadays call my part-time job a body makeup artist. According to the old saying, this business is called painting the corpse. This corpse painting person is not as simple as the outside world thinks. Just put makeup on the corpse. Actually, starting from receiving a corpse, disinfection, cleaning, makeup, hair combing, changing clothes, these things are all done by the painter. The purpose is to allow the deceased to have dignity, be cremated cleanly, and walk decently. Sometimes, because accidents lead to death, the corpse will also show some damage. In order to restore the original appearance of the deceased, it is necessary to stitch the broken corpse carefully with needles and threads. What I like the most is to sew up the corpse with a needle and thread, and then tie a small bow. It is beautiful and generous, and the dead will love it too. To be honest, I am not very courageous, and I will be very scared in my heart when I am a corpse painter. However, the salary of the funeral home is too much. I work part-time for a month, and I can get a salary of more than 5,000, which is a lot more than the salary that many college students find after graduation. Today, I sewed the body of a beautiful woman who died in a car accident, tied the bow, and finished the makeup. For some reason, I seemed to see her finger and moved it slightly. It's like she's tugging her fingers. I was shocked. I am a colleague who has worked in the funeral home for many years. From a scientific point of view, he gave me a reasonable explanation of this situation, which is normal. My colleague said that the human body is composed of fat, muscle, bone, ligament and other different tissues. When a person is alive, these different human tissues, under the control of the central nervous system, work in harmony and live in peace. After the death of a person, it may be due to changes in various internal and external environmental conditions that cause the ligament to occasionally move so gently to make the limbs move. This makes perfect sense from a scientific point of view. I feel that the words my colleagues said are very reasonable, and I am deeply ashamed of being frightened by the movement of the female corpse's fingers. Then, I ended the day of part-time work, took the bus for more than an hour, walked for more than 10 minutes, and returned to the rented house. I originally thought that my life would just go on like this. Study, live, and go to a funeral home to do part-time jobs until the end of life. As a result, just when I just got on the chair and was about to take a break, a panel called a talent that exudes a purple light, just so unexpectedly, just so suddenly, broke into my sight. Name, Xiao Zhang age, 18 years old. Gong method, none skills, none gift pack, newbie gift pack. Experience value, none. Glanced at the novice gift bag, in a state of being able to receive it, in the dark eyes of Xiao Zhang. Suddenly, a touch of excitement flashed. According to the knowledge he has learned from reading various novels for many years, the talent panel suspended in front of him is the standard equipment of the Traverser Gold Finger. One by one on the earth, they are just poor Diao silks, and those who are despised by everyone, rely on this kind of golden finger to directly turn over and claim the emperor. Became the strongest of the heavens and all realms. But, before I have time to cross, I have gold fingers. Don't panic, hold on. According to Xiao Zhang's experience in playing games for many years, he knew that the moment he opened the novice spree was the time when he was most concerned about metaphysics. Can be said to be mysterious, and mysterious, the door of all wonders. Must be cautious. How to check a person's luck, this is exquisite. As the saying goes, people light candles and carry hair. When you draw a gift package, light a white candle in the southeast corner of the room. If the flame of the candle burns very vigorously, it means that you are lucky at this time. If you open the gift package, you will have a boutique. However, if the candle's fire goes out, it means that the luck at the moment is very bad, and it can be described as a series of bad luck. When you are in bad luck, you must hold back. Don't choose to open the gift package. Otherwise, you will only get some broken copper and iron. Thinking of this, Xiaozhang turned around and walked to the desk. Took out a white candle from the drawer and lit it. Xiaozhang placed this white candle in the southeast corner of the room. Well, the flame on the candle is very vigorous. This shows that my luck is now in full swing. It is simply a good fortune. This time you open the newbie spree, it will definitely be a big hit. Looking at the lighted candle, after it was placed in the southeast corner of the room, the fire grew a bit more intense. Xiaozhang couldn't help but nodded in satisfaction. Was a little excited and intolerable. According to the flame on the candle, he must get something good. Okay. Was just about to receive the novice gift package, but Xiaozhang found out that he had overlooked something. It's better to wash your hands first, and then wash your face. Forget it, I'll just take a shower. Xiaozhang, who can't wait in his heart, has no patience to boil a pot of boiling water. He took a shower directly with cold water. Used the freshly bought shifujia, and rubbed it carefully twice. After taking a shower, Xiaozhang looked at the southeast corner of the room again, the white candle that was burning very vigorously, after confirming that it was correct. Was a soft whisper, which rang right above Xiaozhang's heart. Receive the novice gift pack. Along with the flashing of Xiaozhang's thoughts, he hovered over the panel in front of him. Immediately flashed an ambilight, dazzling. When this ambilight is radiant and completely dissipated, a few lines of brand new blue handwriting slowly surfaced on this panel, reflected in Xiaozhang's eyes. Get the skilled magical powers of the Green Snake World Fahei Dai Tian Long. Get experience points 6 points. Get the technique magic power of swallowing the heavens and the power of immortality in the world of Jishan. Get the exercises the original true interpretation and immortal scriptures in perfect world. Get the technique Zalong Sutra in the world of Yuan Zun. Get the technique burning technique in the world of Fight Break Sphere. Get a chance to merge the exercises. After reading a few things on this panel, what exactly they are, Xiaozhang couldn't help taking a breath. Hiss! Immediately, a touch of ecstasy, like a sea wave, suddenly swept Xiaozhang's heart. Almost completely overwhelmed his sanity. He knows that this time he opened the novice spree, he burst. It's a big explosion. Great mighty heavenly dragon, heaven swallowing magic skill, immortal heavenly skill, primitive true explanation, immortal scripture, Zalong scripture, burning technique. Any one of these things is extremely powerful and can be called a treasure. Even if it is placed in the heavens and all realms, there are rare existences. Each occurrence of the most precious treasure will shake the universe and the stars and cause countless blood. And now, all these powerful treasures have been exhausted by his little newbie gift bag. This is something that Xiaozhang didn't even think of at the beginning. Or, he didn't even think about it. The situation in front of me is like playing cards. I just want to come up with a pair at random, and it's enough. As a result, my hands are full of king bombs. I feel my brain seeds buzzing. If it wasn't for fear of face pain, Xiaozhang at this moment really wanted to slap himself a few times. See if it hurts so that he can confirm if he is dreaming. A novice spree in a district. According to common sense, even if he can receive a Fahei's natal supernatural power in the world of Green Snake, even if he is in the lead, Xiaozhang Hong. The ancestor's grave is smoking. As a result, he even got such treasures as heaven-swallowing magic skill, primal true explanation, Zalong scripture, burning Ju, and so on. This kind of luck is no longer good luck, this word can describe it. Like this kind of heaven-defying luck, Xiaozhang feels that only the sun of destiny, the clock of luck, the raising of heaven, the explosion of the ancestral grave. These words add up to describe it appropriately. Here, I have to say something, as the saying goes, it's really true, as the saying goes, people light candles and carry hair. This time, the reason why I can receive so many top treasures in the novice spree www.mtlnovel.com. One of the most important reasons is that the white candle I placed on the southeast corner of the room burns extremely vigorously. Thinking of this, because of the many treasures he has obtained, and the very happy Xiaozhang in his heart, can't help but turn his head slightly. He cast his gaze to the southeast corner of the room, above the burning white candle. Hey? This is... But, the next moment, the scene reflected in Xiao Zhang's eyes actually made his brow wrinkle unconsciously. Even his black pupils shrank tightly in this sudden moment. See you, the white candle burning in the southeast corner of the room. The flame above, spinning and jumping, is very vigorous. The candle light emitted was also like a light bulb, and it was slightly dazzling. But, in the next second, the flame on the candle that was spinning and jumping, suddenly, was completely extinguished. In the southeast corner of the room, there was no more candle light. Gave Xiaozhang the feeling, as if there was an invisible person in that place, gently blowing out the burning white candle. However, Xiaozhang was quite sure that there was only the white candle in the southeast corner of the room. Does not have any human shadows. Then, who blows out this burning white candle? P.S. The new book sets sail, asking for collection, recommendation tickets, rewards, investment. My brother, thank you very much. Could it be that the wind is blowing in the house? Blow out the candles. Just as Xiaozhang frowned slightly, and muttered to himself. Suddenly, outside the door of his rented house, there was a sudden knock on the door. Hearing this series of very rapid knocks, Xiaozhang couldn't help being taken aback. Someone is looking for me? Then, a look of confusion appeared on his face quietly. You know, he has no friends in Rongcheng. Besides, no one knows that he is renting a house here. Having lived here for several months, it was the first time that Xiaozhang encountered someone coming and knocking on the door. What's more, it's past 8 o'clock in the evening now, who would knock on the door to find him at this time? The rapid knock on the door kept ringing, interrupting Xiao Zhang's thoughts. While he got up, he walked quickly towards the door. Opened his mouth and said, "Don't knock, what about the funeral?" This cannot be blamed on Xiao Zhang's bad manner of speaking. But the current way of slamming the door in a hurry is a big taboo and a big rule. To know, when visiting relatives and friends normally, the knock on the door should be one knock first, after a pause of 1 second, and then another 2 consecutive knocks. Made a sound of. And like this kind of rapid continuous shooting, it is a funeral. Is shooting dead people's door. This is the most basic knocking etiquette, it is also a rule, and it is a taboo. Who is it, so unruly? Walked quickly to the door, and Xiaozhang opened the door. Then, angrily said, "You." But, the next moment, the figure that greeted Xiao Zhang's eyes at the doorway made him instantly widen his eyes. With his mouth widened, he couldn't say even a word anymore. It's as if there is a pair of invisible big hands here, which squeezed Xiao Zhang's neck with one hand. The thousands of words that were about to blurt out can only be mixed with saliva and swallowed back into his stomach by him. The reason why Xiaozhang is so gaff at this moment is because outside his room door, there is a delicate and weak figure standing pretty. That is a woman in a light yellow dress. The woman's graceful and enchanting figure, under this pale yellow dress, adds a touch of innocence to her charm. The white skin exposed outside, shone with a ray of sparkle under the dim light. Her delicate facial features are as if God had shaped them one by one after precise calculations. Is a wonderful workmanship. There is no slightest flaw. There is no doubt that this is a woman who will be crazy about any man after seeing it. Guru. As the Adam's apple rolled, Xiaozhang swallowed a bit harder. At this time, he stared at the woman in front of him, his eyes widened. Won't even blink your eyes. Xiao Zhang's gaze was not placed on the woman's graceful and enchanting figure, nor on her beautiful and suffocating face. His eyes were all focused on the woman's neck. I only saw this woman's white jade neck, but there was a circle of black stitching. At the end of the suture, a small bow is tied. For Xiaozhang, a very familiar bow. Perhaps, any man, after seeing this woman, will indulge in the amazing beauty of this woman. Do not extricate yourself. However, Xiaozhang alone is an exception. After he saw this woman, there was no surprise or appreciation in his eyes. Was terrified instead. Is like seeing something terrible. This is not a problem with his aesthetics. But because, if Xiaozhang remembers correctly, this woman in front of her eyes, the circle of black stitches on her jade neck was stitched on by him personally. He tied the little bow tie himself. Xiaozhang is very satisfied with this bow. At the time, he was still thinking that if this woman knew well, she would definitely give him a 5-star praise. No doubt, this beautiful woman who is called the most beautiful in the world and dumped all living beings is exactly a guest Xiaozhang is serving in the funeral home today. To be precise, it was a car driving a Lamborghini sports car, holding an LV bag, wearing a Chanel dress, and having a car accident on the highway. The woman whose head fell, the dead. It was the customer who frightened Xiaozhang with a slight twitch of his finger. I really don't want 5-star praise, grass. Xiaozhang's eyes widened. Looking at the bewitching face of the woman in front of him, there was a hint of fear in the depths of Xiaozhang's pupils, spreading crazily. This color of fear, like a spider web, quickly covered Xiaozhang's slightly green cheeks. Even his body trembles uncontrollably at this moment. Xiaozhang wanted to control his body very much. But, to no avail, the trembling of the body became more obvious. Damn, a corpse that I had just processed during the day, at night, suddenly ran to my door and knocked on the door to find myself. I opened the door for her by cheating myself. How to deal with this situation? Turn around and run away? But, turning around is his own house which is less than 100 square meters, where can he escape? My colleague, didn't he explain the cause of the corpse movement from a scientific point of view? Isn't it normal to say that the corpse's fingers move and kick on both legs? No need to make a fuss. Then this corpse, running over and knocking on the door, is it normal? Can you give me a reasonable explanation from a scientific point of view? For a while, facing this appalling scene before him, Xiaozhang's mind was in confusion. He didn't know how to deal with it. Just when Xiaozhang stared at the woman in horror, this woman stretched out her pale right hand, tucked her long hair that fell to her ears, pursed the corners of her mouth, and smiled slightly at Xiaozhang. The woman's smile was bright and intoxicating like a spring breeze, but it made Xiaozhang's body cold. Like falling into an ice cave. Go to his, mom, and science, it's too unreliable. Hey! The next moment, this woman who drove a Lamborghini before her death pinched Xiaozhang's neck with one hand. The right hand of the woman holding Xiaozhang's neck is like the finest white jade of mutton fat, carefully carved. White as jade. However, the cold radiating from this right hand is like a piece of ice that has not melted for 1,000 years, making Xiaozhang feel like his body is frozen. Can't move at all. Then, the Lamborghini woman pinched Xiaozhang's neck and stepped into the room. Along with the movement of the woman's footsteps, she pinched Xiaozhang's neck with her hand, and her strength increased a little. Seems to be in the next moment, she is about to break Xiaozhang's neck directly. Xiaozhang's heart also slowly sank. He knew, perhaps, if the strength in this Lamborghini woman's hand was increased by that point, his neck would be completely broken. And that moment is when he died. But, I really don't want to die. I want to live. I'm only 18 years old, I just entered university, I am still a virgin, a man, I have never tasted what it is like to be a woman. I am not willing. Xiaozhang's desire to survive burst out instantly. However, the body that was frozen by the Lamborghini woman's yin air, and unable to move, made Xiaozhang's heart helplessly understand. Hopeless. I'm dead. was caught by a woman who had come back to life. It must be a dead end. There is no second way. Don't say that in this room, I am alone. Even if there are more people, I am afraid they are not the opponent of the woman in front of me. No one can save himself. It's just a pity. My Xiao Zhang's great years have not yet started, so I just died. Just as Xiao Zhang confessed his fate to accept death. Okay. Suddenly, he realized what he seemed to be ignoring. By the way, I still have a talent panel. I still have so many treasures, I still have hope of life. Thinking of the talent panel he had obtained today, Xiao Zhang felt as if he had discovered the first line of life to solve the mortal situation in front of him. Talent! Accompanied by a cry quietly resounding in Xiao Zhang's heart. A talent panel exuding purple light slowly appeared before his eyes. Name, Xiao Zhang. Age, 18 years old. Techniques, Swallowing Heaven. Demon Art, Immortal Heaven Art, Primitive True Explanation, Immortal Scripture, Zalong Scripture, Burning Jew. Skill, Da Yi Tian Long. Package, None item, a chance to merge the exercises. Experience value, 6. Xiao Zhang's gaze swiftly across the talent panel that exudes purple light. Swallowing Heaven. Demon Art, Immortal Heaven Art, Primitive True Explanation, Immortal Scripture, Ancestral Dragon Scripture, Burning Jew, Da Yi Tian Long. With these famed techniques and skills, as long as Xiao Zhang learns one of them casually www.mtlnovel.com, he can see the Lamborghini woman in front of him. To the easy, beheaded on the spot. But, immediately afterwards, Xiao Zhang sighed extremely bitterly in his heart, but, these exercises and skills, how can I learn them for a while? Any exercise requires a lot of time, hard practice day and night, and perseverance to master it. You can never learn it overnight. But now, I'm pinched tightly by the Lamborghini woman, and she will break my neck in the next second. There is no time to practice these exercises and skills. Thinking of this, the bitterness at the corner of Xiao Zhang's mouth is a bit richer. Originally, he thought he had got the golden finger. From then on, he will move from ordinary to eternal immortality. Step by step, down to earth, relying on my own efforts, I will eventually grow into the strongest among the heavens and the universe. But, he didn't expect it to be when he received the novice gift package and obtained many treasures. The Lamborghini woman who had died a long time ago suddenly appeared in front of his door and pinched his neck. The ups and downs of life are really exciting to the heart. Just as Xiao Zhang felt extremely desperate about his current situation, a few lines of clear words slowly appeared on the talent panel and were reflected in Xiao Zhang's eyes. By consuming experience points, you can increase the level of exercise skills. P.S. The book has received the contract and the station is short, you readers can invest it, and you will not lose money. For every additional 1,000 recommended votes, one more chapter is added. For every 1,000 additional collections, one more chapter is added. Reward for every 10,000 starting coins, plus one more chapter. One more chapter for every 100 investors. If you can add 10,000 recommended votes someday, you will have to add 10 more chapters if you die. The keyboard of my little brother is already hungry and thirsty. Dear readers, hurry up and kill me with recommendation tickets, collections, and investments. Perhaps, for the readers, a recommendation ticket is not worth paying attention to. However, for the younger brother, a recommendation ticket, a collection, and an investment are all precious support, and they are all the driving forces that support the younger brother to go on firmly. Brother is here, I implore the readers for your support. Collection, recommendation tickets, rewards, investment, no matter what kind of support it is, I am grateful. The 0th level of Heaven Swallowing Magic Skill, can consume 7 experience points to upgrade to the first level. Indestructible Heavenly Power Level 0, can consume 7 experience points to upgrade to the first level. The 0th level of the Ancestral Dragon Scriptures, can consume 7 experience points to upgrade to the first level. The Immortal Sutra level 0, can consume 7 experience points to upgrade to the first level. The 0th level of the Burning Technique, can consume 7 experience points to upgrade to the first level. Original True Solution level 0, can consume 8 experience points to upgrade to the first level. Dai I Tianlong level 0, can consume 4 experience points to upgrade to the first level. Looking at the few lines of handwriting that appeared on the talent panel in front of him, Xiaozhang couldn't help but his eyes widened, and a touch of joy appeared on his face. In his desperate heart, at this moment, new hope is rekindled. What's going on? Can it still let me learn exercise skills immediately? Then, he seemed to realize something, the joy on Xiao Zhang's cheek suddenly became a bit stiff. However, if the 6 techniques of Swallowing Heaven Demon Art, Immortal Heaven Art, Primal True Understanding, Immortal Scripture, Ancestral Dragon Scripture, and Burning Technique are improved, at least 7 experience points are consumed. However, I now only have 6 experience points. Any one of these 6 strong exercises, I cannot improve now. Xiao Zhang's gaze shifted slightly downward. In the end, his line of sight was finally frozen on the last line. Above those handwritings about the skill of Dai I Tianlong. To upgrade Fahei's natal supernatural power and Great Mighty Dragon, the amount of experience points needed to be consumed is the least, much less than the other 6 exercises. Only 4 are needed. With the experience points I have now, it is more than enough to upgrade this powerful dragon. Looking at the handwriting of Dai I Tianlong, Xiao Zhang's eyes became brighter and brighter. Moreover, this mighty dragon is still the magical power of the Buddhist school. For the mysterious things like Lamborghini women in front of me, the magical powers of the Buddha have a great restraint effect. I remember that Fahei in the green snake world, but with this mighty heavenly dragon's supernatural power, it is invincible to destroy demons and demons. At the moment when his life was hanging by a thread, Xiaozhang had no time to think more. And, the experience value he has now is only enough to improve the magical power of Dai I Tianlong. Even in Xiao Zhang's heart, he wanted to improve the other techniques. However, due to insufficient experience points, now he can only helplessly dispel the idea of improving his cultivation technique. Put all his attention on the promotion of Dai I Tianlong. Xiaozhang immediately shouted in his heart, consume 4 experience points to upgrade the Dai I Tianlong from the 0th level to the first level. Just as the thoughts in Xiao Zhang's heart flashed lightly. Hovering on the talent panel in front of him, the number of experience points decreased by 4 from the previous 6. Became 2. At the same time, countless new images quickly emerged in front of Xiao Zhang's eyes. Among these pictures, there is a Fahei wearing a red cassock and growing like a jade tree facing the wind. He is performing the magical power of the great mighty dragon in the temple of Jinshan Temple. A golden dragon shadow, looming on Fahei's back, exudes endless golden light. Boom! An extremely terrifying power, slowly brewing out of this golden dragon shadow. At this time, every detailed step of Dai I Tianlong's magical power was very clear in Xiao Zhang's mind, one by one. When all the screens stop, the content of these pictures immediately turned into an extremely dazzling golden character. Flickered slightly, and this golden character turned into a stream of light. Got into Xiao Zhang's mind. When this golden character made by the mighty dragon, just entered his mind, it merged with the memory in Xiao Zhang's mind. Was just a moment, completely turned into Xiao Zhang's own memory. Xiao Zhang seems to have seen himself become a monk, host the Jinshan Temple, and practice the Dai I Tianlong crazily. I am practicing hard every day and night. Is like practicing for countless years. All the steps and all the details until the first level of the Dai I Tianlong have been trained into a kind of instinct of the body by him. All of this happened in a blink of an eye. Xiao Zhang, in an incredible way, truly mastered the magical powers of Fahei, the first level of the Dai I Tianlong. What? Suddenly, a painful roar came from Xiao Zhang's mouth, resounding in this narrow room. At this moment, Xiao Zhang felt a burst of severe pain deep into his bone marrow on his back, which continued to spread and spread to all corners of his body. It is as if there is an invisible person who is holding an extremely sharp carving knife and carefully carving something on his back. If Xiao Zhang could see his back, he would be extremely surprised to find out. I don't know when, his back is like that Fahey. Actually got a golden dragon tattooed. Is lifelike, like a living thing, as if it will break free from Xiao Zhang's back in the next moment. And it was at this moment when the golden dragon appeared on Xiao Zhang's back. A feeling of warmth completely envelopes his whole body. The coldness that froze her body originally from the right hand of the Lamborghini woman, after touching this peculiar warmth, is quickly dissipated. It is like the snow melts after the snow meets the scorching sun. Xiao Zhang regained his control over the body at the moment when the coldness dissipated. Then, he began to struggle fiercely. And this Lamborghini woman, obviously did not expect that the person frozen by the yin qi would still struggle violently, so she was not prepared. Therefore, Xiao Zhang immediately broke free from the Lamborghini woman's hands. A look of surprise appeared on the delicate face of the Lamborghini woman. She looked at Xiao Zhang suspiciously. She did not expect that the man in front of her would suddenly resist, and successfully broke free from her hand. What's going on? Just as the Lamborghini woman was preparing to take a few steps forward, to catch the man in front of her again. Suddenly, an angry rage sounded in this room. Echoed in the ears of this Lamborghini woman. Bold evildoer, I can see at a glance that you are not a human, the mighty heavenly dragon, the world's Unjaizo, the Pruchna Buddhas, Pruchna Bamakong. I saw that Xiao Zhang took a stride, his figure was soaring into the air, and he slammed into the Lamborghini woman not far away. He broke free from the woman, and never thought of turning around and fleeing. Xiao Zhang didn't think that his physique was just an ordinary person. In terms of the speed of escape, he could run faster than the resurrected woman in front of him. Since you can't run away, kill this Lamborghini woman. You must know that the magical power of Dai Tianlong is the fate of Fahey of Jinshan Temple. The legendary Fahey is the boa constrictor Mahurajya, one of the 8 dragons of Buddhism. Known as boundless mana, sea cracks and landslides. Even if compared with those bodhisattvas and arhats, Fahey is no less inferior. Now, I have learned the first level of this great dragon, and it is absolutely easy to kill a dead body in the area. Explore the capsule to fetch things. The Lamborghini woman looked at him with a bit of amazement. The man who had just broken free of her, not only didn't turn around and flee, but instead rushed towards her with a stride. Following that, a sneer of ridicule was slowly drawn at the corner of her lips. Is this man stupid? Is it possible that you want to kill me? At this moment, Xiao Zhang's palm slashed fiercely on her Yuxiang in her mouth. Then, a very screaming scream came out from the Lamborghini woman's mouth. Resounded in this somewhat narrow room. Ah! How is it possible? What happened? At this moment, the expression of disdain on the Lamborghini woman's face has all disappeared. Instead, in an instant, the expression on her cheeks was recovered, only incredibly unbelievable, and a touch of the deepest fear. She did not expect that a palm of the man in front of her could actually hurt her. www.mtlnovel.com. This is simply impossible. Actually, when the Lamborghini woman saw Xiao Zhang and rushed towards her, she didn't even think about dodge or resist. Because she doesn't believe that an ordinary person can hurt her. So, just seeing Xiao Zhang rushing towards her, her heart was laughing at this man's overweight. It was like seeing a tiny ant charging towards the mighty and mighty elephant. Ignorance. Ridiculous. But, just like the moment when this palm hit her body, the Lamborghini woman vaguely saw a dragon-shaped golden glow, which flew out of the man's palm and penetrated into her moon and mouth. In this peculiar dragon-shaped golden light, there is actually a kind of weirdness that has a great restraint effect on her. Facing this dragon-shaped golden light, the yin air lingering on the Lamborghini woman could not be resisted. Quickly dissipated. In the blink of an eye, this Lamborghini woman was discovered with extreme horror. Along with the rapid dissipation of the yin qi on her body, she herself seems to be completely dissipated between this world and the earth. Soul flies away. No. Give me my life. After realizing that the man in front of him really had the power to kill her. On the delicate and beautiful cheeks of a Lamborghini woman. Suddenly, it was full of panic and fear. I am willing to do anything, please. P.S. I am willing to do anything, as long as you readers are willing to vote for recommendation. You. The Lamborghini woman opened a small cherry mouth. She still wanted to say some more begging words to Xiaozhang, and begged to let her go. However, it is not waiting for the Lamborghini woman to finish those begging for mercy. The golden dragon shadow was within her body, and it suddenly shook. Boom! Suddenly, an extremely vast Buddha thought was emitting endless golden Buddha light. These golden Buddha lights, like thousands of sharp swords, pierced her entire body. What? What? Was accompanied by an extremely screaming scream, echoing in this somewhat narrow room. The body of the Lamborghini woman suddenly collapsed. In the end, she turned into a fly ash and disappeared completely. I really learned the mighty dragon, this magical power of Fahei. I really killed the woman who had come back from the dead. All this is true. Looking at the flying ash scattered in the room, Xiao Zhang's heart surged. Can't calm down for a long time. These things that happened today are more ups and downs than his previous 18 years of life. The scenes of this scene are like a storm, and the impact on Xiao Zhang's mind is unparalleled. In an instant, his worldview was completely destroyed. Before today, Xiao Zhang had never thought that such a thing would happen. In this world, there is such a strange thing as this Lamborghini woman. Moreover, he can actually learn the techniques and skills in novels or movies. You need to know that these so-called Dai Tian Long, Tian Swallowing Magic Skill, Immortal Tian Gong, Primal Truth Explanation, Immortal Scripture, Zilong Scripture, Fenju, is nothing more than novels and movies. Is fake. Are all fake. Is something that does not exist at all in reality. The whole world knows this. But, Xiaozhang, he really learned this. Even, just now, he also used the magical power of the mighty heavenly dragon to kill a corpse that an ordinary person could not contend with and came back to life. Everything that happened made Xiaozhang feel unbelievable. However, what immediately came to his mind was endless ecstasy. A talent panel that can convert false things in novels, movies, and games into real talent is too powerful. Even if it is placed in the heavens, the universe, the golden fingers like the talent panel are absolutely unique existences against the sky. Sugh. Took a deep breath, Xiaozhang calmed down his messy thoughts a bit. Talent. Immediately, a soft whisper sound rang in Xiao Zhang's heart. Immediately afterwards, the talent panel that exudes purple light slowly emerged in front of Xiao Zhang's eyes. He wants to study this talent panel. After all, this talent panel is related to his brilliant future. In the future, whether he can stand on top of the summit and overlook the eternal powers, to a large extent, will depend on this heaven-defying talent panel. Name: Xiaozhang age, 18 years old. Gong method, the 0th level of heaven swallowing magic skill level 0 of the immortal art of heaven, the 0th level of the original true solution indestructible sutra level 0, ancestral dragon scripture level 0, burning technique level 0, skills, the first level of Dai Tian Long. Package, none item, a chance to merge the exercises. Experience value, 12. When the handwriting on this talent panel reflected the moment before Xiao Zhang's eyes. Hey? What is the experience value? He was surprised to find that the line of experience points was slightly blurred. After less than one breath, this line of ambiguous handwriting became clear again, and it was reflected in Xiao Zhang's eyes. Experience value, 12. I remember I gained 6 experience points from the novice gift package. Then, when the supernatural power of Dai Tianlong was upgraded from the 0th level to the first level, 4 were consumed, and only 2 experience points were left. But, how come it suddenly becomes 12 experience points now? Then what happened to the 10 experience points that suddenly increased? Looking at the change in the number of experience points, Xiao Zhang's brows furrowed, and his heart groaned. At this moment, Xiao Zhang has already understood the importance of experience value to him. Can be described as a vital existence. The function of this talent panel can be said to be against the sky. You can redeem exercises, skills, characters, magic weapons, supernatural powers, physique, talents from countless novels, movies, and games. Can let Xiao Zhang completely master these things in a flash, like an arm drive. Is like practicing hard for countless years. However, all of this requires experience points. In other words, for Xiao Zhang, experience value means everything. Therefore, facing the sudden increase of 10 experience points, Xiao Zhang naturally did not dare to be careless. Needs him to seriously explore what is going on. If he can find a way to gain experience points, then, Xiao Zhang has a steady flow of energy, redeeming more of the treasures in novels and movies. After I consumed experience points and improved the Dai Tianlong, so far, I haven't done anything. It was just to kill the woman who had come back from the dead, and did nothing else. No, the woman who was killed and resurrected. When thinking about this, Xiao Zhang suddenly seemed to have grasped some key information. His eyes lit up suddenly. Xiao Zhang vaguely understood. The reason why I have gained 10 experience points now is definitely because I just used the great mighty dragon to kill the woman who had resurrected from the dead. This possibility was just thought of by Xiao Zhang, and he immediately concluded that it was definitely the reason. According to this situation, the way to gain experience points is to kill such evil and weird things like women who have resurrected from the dead. In the future, I must find a way to find these secret trails. This world is not as peaceful as I thought before. In some corners, I don't know how many evil things are hidden. Thinking of the Lamborghini woman who had just killed him, Xiao Zhang couldn't help feeling a chill in his back. Couldn't help but feel a little grateful. A woman who has died a long time ago, he still has his hands stitched one by one, carefully mending the broken parts of the neck and head, and painting the makeup. Actually appeared directly in front of him. If it weren't for Xiao Zhang who happened to get the talent panel today, and he happened to have drawn some powerful techniques and skills in the novice spree, then, today, he is absolutely dead. There is no way to survive. Only by strengthening oneself and increasing strength can you hold your own life and survive for a long time in this dangerous world. At this moment, Xiao Zhang's thoughts of becoming stronger are undoubtedly stronger. He can't wait and wants to improve his strength. By the way, after beheading that woman and gaining 10 experience points, I now have 12 experience points. With so many experience points, you can completely improve those strongest techniques. Thinking of raising the level of the most powerful techniques, Xiao Zhang licked his lips with excitement. His heart was immediately hot. The power of this great dragon is so powerful. Regardless of whether it is the power of swallowing the devil, or the immortal art, or the ancestral dragon scripture, the burning technique, and the original true interpretation, the immortal scripture, are all more powerful techniques than Dai Tianlong. After I have practiced the technique, how terrifying is my strength? It's exciting to think about it. At that time, the mysterious energy cultivated through the exercises used the magical power of the mighty heavenly dragon. The power is so powerful www.mtlnovel.com I can hardly imagine it. Is really exciting. Thinking of this, Xiao Zhang's gaze moved slightly upward. His sight, from the handwriting of the experience value, swept towards the techniques he possessed. Grumbling. Just when Xiao Zhang wanted to consume experience points to improve one of the techniques, suddenly, a loud voice came from Xiao Zhang's stomach. Made his complexion change slightly. Hungry. So hungry. This kind of intense hunger is like Xiao Zhang hasn't eaten for several days. It seems that I just used the magical power of the mighty Tianlong, which consumed too much energy accumulated in the body, so now I am so hungry. The intense feeling of hunger, like a surging tide, made the corners of Xiao Zhang's mouth twitch a little. He often reads novels and stays up late to catch up. He understands that it is to use magical powers and other skills, which consumes a certain amount of energy. And the current Xiao Zhang has not yet practiced the exercises. Therefore, there is no energy like Reiki in his body. Therefore, the energy consumed by using the magical power of the mighty Tianlong just now is the physical strength and energy in his body. The great exhaustion of physical strength and energy can cause Xiao Zhang to be so hungry. Is like starving to death and reincarnation. Xiao Zhang can't care about any cultivation techniques anymore, he has no mind to think about it anymore. He just wants to eat now, just want to fill his stomach. P.S. Which exercise is better for practicing? Master readers can leave a message here. Juxianjai Yuan Barbecue is a popular buffet restaurant near Chengdu University. The environment is elegant, with plenty of meat and plenty of meat. Of course, the most popular one is the price of 50 yuan per person. For young people, this price is very economical. Therefore, those students from several nearby universities and some young lovers often come over to eat. Basically, every night, Juxianjai Yuan's barbecue buffet is full here. Even, sometimes, it takes half an hour to line up to have a spare table. At this moment, these diners in Juxianjai Yuan self-service barbecue restaurant, what they are concerned about is no longer the barbecue dripping with golden fat. Everyone's attention was focused on a young man sitting by the window. This boy has a plain appearance. Belongs to the category of people who are placed in the crowd and will not attract any attention. Is like in the legend of Condor heroes, the Yanguo played by Gu Tianel is generally unremarkable. What attracts the attention of everyone present is because of the teenager's appetite. Is too amazing. At this time, the several beautiful beauties at the next table were already a little dumbfounded. A girl with shoulder-length hair and short hair couldn't help but whispered, "This man is really delicious. He ate at least 5 caddies of meat, right? Is he hungry for several days? He is really hungry, and only eats so much meat at once." Hearing the words of the girl with short hair, the slender woman in a black tight leather jacket sitting opposite her slowly turned his head. With her faint gaze, she glanced at the young man who was eating like a hungry man. In the bright eyes of this woman in black leather clothes, a flash of disdain flashed. Hee, for a person like him, a meal for 50 yuan is a very luxurious meal. Naturally, one has to find a way to eat more, otherwise, it is estimated that he will be distressed for a long time. The short-haired girl blinked her eyes when she heard the disdainful words of her friend. She asked curiously, "Do you know this person?" "Well, it can be considered a acquaintance. This person, like me, is a freshman in the School of Economics and Management of Chengdu University. The name seems to be Xiao Zhang or something, a small person who is not worth mentioning." The woman in black tight-fitting leather turned her head as she spoke, and withdrew her gaze to Xiao Zhang. "I don't even look at it anymore." She felt that her clear gaze had been tarnished and defiled by this starving classmate. Such a humble man like dust, how can he deserve her attention? The short-haired girl grinned, winking a bit and said, "You have so many freshmen in the School of Economics and Management, Lin Qingqian, you can remember the name of not many people? Why do you happen to remember this Xiao Zhang's name? Hey, do you like him secretly?" Lin Qingqian, who heard her friend teasing herself so much, with her fair skin under the black tight-fitting leather jacket, appeared more white, she couldn't help but shook her head slowly. She casually explained, "Humph, what are you kidding me, Lin Qingqian, would like a man like him." The disdain in Lin Qingqian's tone is obvious. Does not put any cover up at all. Everyone present who heard her words could clearly feel her disdain for the boy in her tone. Is like a haughty white swan, disdainful of a toad. Is the kind of disdain that anyone will recognize from the bottom of their hearts after hearing it. The reason I know him is because everyone in the School of Economics and Management knows that this freshman named Xiaozhang has a poor family background. In order to make money, do you know what part-time he does? When he said this, Lin Qingqian paused slightly. When she saw the eyes of a few friends, she was full of curiosity. Lin Qingqian then continued to speak. He went so far as to go to that funeral home in the suburbs to do a part-time job. That part-time job seems to be called the corpse painter. Painting corpse people is a job dedicated to putting makeup on those dead. I heard that after some corpses were damaged, he still had to stitch them one by one, carefully mending those damaged places. Being a part-time job like a corpse painter, he is really courageous, and he is not afraid of encountering anything dirty. Lin Qingqian's disdain at the corners of her mouth became more and more obvious. Her voice did not make any cover-up, her voice was clear and very nice, and the diners around could hear his disdainful ridicule. I suggest that everyone stay away from him, so as not to get any bad luck, that would be unlucky. Hearing Lin Qingqian's words, several female classmates at the same table couldn't help but fought a cold war. Their faces became a little pale. At this moment, these female classmates looked at Xiaozhang, and a touch of fear and disgust quickly emerged. Even a female classmate who was seated closer to Xiaozhang moved her seat quickly. Opened the distance with Xiaozhang. I work part-time in a funeral home, specializing in makeup for the dead, stitching stitches and stitches on the broken body. When these words are linked together, they are blurted out by Lin Qingqian. Was like a thunder, slammed into the buffet barbecue in Juxiang Garden, and suddenly exploded. At this moment, it's not just these female classmates. Even the many other diners in the restaurant passed a look of disgust among the hundreds of different eyes that looked at Xiaozhang. Although, everyone knows that birth, old age, sickness and death are the laws of nature, and they all understand the truth. However, once people hear about dead people, especially funeral homes, people still feel terrified. People's subconscious reaction is to stay away. Haha. Seeing hundreds of people in the audience are paying attention to him. www.mtlnovel.com. The corners of Lin Qingqian's mouth can't help but be slightly provoked. A look of triumphant expression appeared on her white face. She likes the feeling of being noticed. Moreover, a man like him will have no prospects in his entire life. He can only do the cheapest and hardest work at the bottom of the society, with the least salary. Such a man is admitted to college, hoping to change his destiny of poverty and suffering through college. However, after he graduates, he will find helplessly that his destiny is still at the bottom of society, struggling to survive. Lin Qingqian's voice fell off, and the people around couldn't help but nod lightly. They all felt that what Lin Qingqian said made sense. Although the words are a bit ugly and hurtful, it is an unquestionable fact. Like this man named Xiaozhang, it is estimated that he will have nothing to say in his life. Haha! Sandwiched a piece of roasted pork belly and put it in his mouth. Xiaozhang curled his mouth and chuckled lightly. Xiaozhang could vaguely feel the words of the people around him and his eyes mixed with various meanings. As for the talking and laughing of the female classmates at the next table, he could also hear them. Especially Lin Qingqian. Among the few female classmates, her ridicule and sarcasm towards herself is even more unconcealed. Xiaozhang, of course, can hear it clearly. P.S. I am a scumbag, and I ruthlessly rejected the appointment of my little sister. Just to update the chapters on time, readers, hurry up and use the recommendation ticket to kill me as a scumbag. Forget it, care about these things with her. Took another greasy chicken leg and Xiaozhang put it in his mouth. It only took 3 or 4 seconds to spit out the bones of the chicken legs. Xiaozhang didn't plan to laugh at himself with this Lin Qingqian. It's not that Xiaozhang liangxiangziyu. Besides, he is not the kind of person who loves xiangziyu. And Xiaozhang didn't care about these ridicules, just because he didn't plan to care about these with a dying person. He dared to conclude that this Lin Qingqian in front of him was a dying person. The arrival of death, I am afraid, is only a few steps away. Even, maybe this evening, this Lin Qingqian is about to die. Just when Lin Qingqian laughed at him, Xiaozhang couldn't help turning his head and glanced at her. I want to see if I know this classmate of the School of Economics and Management. After taking a look, Xiaozhang recognized Lin Qingqian's identity. After all, for the most famous beauty in the School of Economics and Management, he used to listen to his classmates chanting, and he almost heard the cocoon in his ears. Just when Xiaozhang turned his head to look at Lin Qingqian, his eyes, but inadvertently, touched her neck. Then, his eyes narrowed slightly. Xiao Zhang's black pupils shrank severely at this moment, and suddenly, I saw that there was a blood-red handprint on Lin Qingqian's white neck, which suddenly appeared. Ticking, several drops of fishy blood flowed slowly down Lin Qingqian's smooth skin from this handprint. It's just that this blood-red handprint disappeared in a flash. Soon disappeared. This blood-red handprint that suddenly appeared out of thin air and disappeared in front of his eyes suddenly gave Xiaozhang the feeling is like an invisible person standing behind Lin Qingqian. Then, this invisible person pinched her neck fiercely with his palm stained with scarlet blood. And when this blood-red handprint flashed by, an extremely cold and peculiar feeling quickly surfaced in Xiao Zhang's mind. This unique cold feeling is completely different from the cold caused by the external environment, but a strange cold that seems to be able to freeze the heart. This kind of feeling, not long ago, Xiaozhang had just encountered it once. Was when he met a Lamborghini woman who had come back from the dead. And now, this is the second time. Weird coldness. Hidden you. Xiaozhang narrowed his eyes slightly. His gaze swept across Lin Qingqian's white neck again, wanting to take a closer look. However, Xiaozhang stared at him for a while, but never saw the blood-red handprint again. It was as if the blood-red handprint that appeared on Lin Qingqian's neck just now was just an illusion of Xiao Zhang's dizziness. But, that kind of cold feeling is definitely not an illusion. Although, Xiaozhang did not see the blood-red handprint again. Although the blood-red handprint just disappeared in a flash, Xiaozhang did not see clearly, although the blood-red handprint did not appear again. However, that unique cold feeling can't be wrong. Therefore, Xiaozhang dared to conclude that Lin Qingqian was entangled in the weirdness. Therefore, he could not exaggerate Lin Qingqian as a dying person. An ordinary person, no matter how beautiful she looks and no matter how enchanting her figure is, once she is entangled by those weirdness, there is only a dead end. Such a thing as beautiful is useful to people. But it's weird, but it's useless. Is entangled in mystery, then wait for death. If you care about someone who is about to die soon, forget it. Slowly shook his head, Xiaozhang retracted his gaze on Lin Qingqian. Also stopped thinking about the madra. He has no interest in doing things like heroes saving the beauty. What's more, this Lin Qingqian has just mocked himself with words countless times. He didn't slap the mighty Tianlong, and killed Lin Qingqian on the spot, already considered himself very kind. Then, Xiaozhang focused all his attention on the dozen or so dishes in front of him. I have probably eaten 7 or 8 caddies of meat. Xiaozhang took less than 5 seconds to solve a plate of smoked pork head. At this time, the intense hunger in his body has slowly dissipated a lot. Xiaozhang feels that if he eats another 2 or 3 caddies of meat, he will definitely be full. In other words, I have to eat nearly 10 caddies of meat to get rid of this hunger. In professional terms, is the great mighty dragon on the first floor, it is the power of 10 caddies of flesh. This Dai Tianlong is really a waste of money. Fortunately, I eat self-service barbecue. It only costs 50 yuan. If I buy meat and eat it myself, if I calculate it at the current price of 30 or 40 yuan a caddy of pork, I will spend 300 to 400 yuan for this 10 caddy of meat. The money I earn a month as a part-time corpse painter in a funeral home is only enough for me to perform more than a dozen powerful dragons. Accompanied by the silent calculation in Xiao Zhang's heart. The corners of his mouth started to twitch slightly because of distress. To know, for Xiao Zhang, who was from a poor family and needed a work-study program, these several $100s used to be his food expenses for more than a month. Now, this month's food expenses are only enough for Xiao Zhang to use the Dai Tianlong once. Furthermore, this is only the first tier Dai Tianlong, and the consumption is so huge. Wait for me to upgrade the Dai Tianlong several times in the future. At that time, the energy consumption will only be greater. I am afraid that as soon as I displayed this magical power, I squeezed all my energy and stamina to dryness, and died on the spot. It seems that I must practice a technique as soon as possible, absorb the power of heaven and earth, and take it in myself, so that it can be consumed when I use my magical powers. Thinking of practicing the exercises, Xiao Zhang's thoughts moved slightly. Talent. Immediately, the talent panel exuding purple light slowly appeared in front of Xiao Zhang's eyes. Name, Xiao Zhang age, 18 years old. Gong method, the 0th level of heaven swallowing magic skill. Indestructible heavenly power level 0. The 0th level of the original true solution. Indestructible sutra level 0. Ancestral dragon scripture level 0. Burning technique level 0. Skills, the first level of Dai Tianlong. Package, none. Item, a chance to merge the exercises. Experience value, 12. Xiao Zhang's gaze moved quickly on the effort panel. In the end, his gaze was fixed on those martial arts. I now have 12 experience points. Swallowing the devil power, the immortal heavenly power, the original true interpretation, the immortal scripture, the ancestral dragon scripture, and the burning technique, these 6 powerful techniques, I can immediately promote to the first level. Frowned slightly, Xiao Zhang stretched out his right hand. Rubbed his forehead with a headache. But, which exercise should I choose to practice? Sometimes, there are too many options to choose from, which is also a headache. Suddenly, it was difficult for Xiao Zhang to decide which technique he wanted to improve. P.S. Thanks to the readers of some old books, who specially came to vote for recommendation to support my little brother. Thanks, brother. There is no doubt that the exercises obtained by these 6 Xiao Zhangs from the novice spree are all top-notch and most powerful exercises. Even if they are placed among the heavens, the universe, and the stars, these 6 supreme cultivation techniques are definitely rare peaks in existence. Every practice in this world can set off countless storms. Has attracted countless strong men and fought for it. Even if there is a huge danger of death, they won't have any hesitation. Even if he is an ordinary person, if he can obtain one of these exercises, with diligent study and practice, the future can stand on the long river of time. Became the pinnacle powerhouse who suppressed the ages. And now, all the fantasy worlds put in this way are the most top-level exercises, and Xiao Zhang has 6 sects at once. This is really a happy and troublesome thing. The demon skill of swallowing the sky was created by the ruthless emperor in the great world to improve his aptitude. She was born with very poor aptitude, even, not as good as ordinary people, but had to embark on the road of spiritual practice, so she created this technique with her peerless talent. The demon skill of swallowing the sky uses the origin of swallowing others as a means to make up for its own shortcomings. If you can cultivate to perfection, you can become one of the strongest physiques in the universe with the lack of chaos. While devouring various kinds of barbecue, Xiao Zhang secretly pondered the advantages and disadvantages of each technique in his own heart. The Indestructible Sutra is the strongest self-cultivation method created by heaven and earth, good fortune exercises, which means the Supreme Treasure Sutra born in heaven and earth and prepared for humanoid creatures. It cannot be judged by common sense. Those handwritings in the scriptures are all manifestations of the great Tao of heaven and earth, transcending the limitations of the times, and anyone in any era can comprehend it. A person who has practiced this technique can live forever in his flesh and body, claiming that his flesh is immortal, and he can regenerate spiritual consciousness even if he dies. This person should have eaten 10 kgs of meat, right? You have to have at least 10 kgs of meat. I can only eat 1 or 2 kgs of meat in one meal. This man named Xiaozhang is really edible. He is really a big stomach king. With such a big appetite, if there is no mine in his house, or if there are not dozens of houses to collect rent, then he will starve to death sooner or later. For Xiaozhang eating, the people in the store have been paying attention to him silently. People with such a big appetite, they have only heard of it. Or, I just saw it on TV. This is the first time everyone has seen it in reality. But, as long as you think of this Xiaozhang, because of his poor family background, he works part-time in the funeral home to make up the dead, and even repairs the broken corpses. In the eyes of these people present, a touch of mockery appeared. He, working part-time in the funeral home to earn money from the dead, when eating, there is as much as starving to death and reincarnation. This really complements each other. It's really bad luck to eat in a restaurant with people like this, and still next to the table. I hope you don't get any bad luck. Chuckled, Lin Qingqian glanced at Xiaozhang, who was eating meat, and faced the female classmates at the same table. Then, she smiled disdainfully, "Don't look at such a rubbish, it's really boring, can you still see the flowers? With time, it's better to talk about other interesting things." Hearing Lin Qingqian's words, the female classmates at the same table also retracted their gazes at Xiaozhang. Turned his head and stopped paying attention. As Lin Qingqian said just now, what is the use of paying attention to such a foodie? He can win everyone with his starving appetite, and besides that, it's not worth wasting any thoughts and time at all. Qingqian, you definitely don't like Xiaozhang's mud legs, then what kind of boyfriend are you looking for? Stop talking about Xiaozhang, who was starved to death and weird and reborn. The topic of short-haired girls chatting was directly transferred to Lin Qingqian. Qingqian, but the famous beauty of the School of Economics and Management, those who pursue her, can be ranked from the School of Management to our School of Computer Science. If you want to be a simple boyfriend, you must be a dragon and phoenix among the people to be qualified. As for the big waist like Xiaozhang, it is not worthy to give us clear shoes. There is a cute girl with a baby face, blinking her big eyes and said. When Xiaozhang was mentioned, the voice of the baby-faced girl added a lot of ridicule and sarcasm. That's right, today, many men have found me, and let me introduce Qingqian to him. Don't give us an introduction, at least you have to be a rich second generation with a net worth of tens of millions before you can introduce Qingqian. From time to time, there was compliment from her companion. Lin Qingqian's mouth gently evoked an upward arc. Is very charming. For such compliments, she has heard loudly since childhood. In these years, Lin Qingqian has never talked about a person. Even, there is no first love. She just wants to find a good enough man. In fact, although her family background is better than Xiaozhang, who is from a poor family, it is just a family of ordinary people. But, who asked God to give her a beautiful face and a devilish figure? Therefore, if you want to be Lin Qingqian's boyfriend, it must not be a waste like Xiaozhang. Must be an excellent person among the dragons and phoenixes to qualify. Let alone the School of Economics and Management where she belongs, even in the entire Rongcheng University, a man who can enter Lin Qing's light eyes is only a few people. And these few people are all the top figures in Chengdu University. At this moment, Xiaozhang also ate all the 10 jin of meat he had taken. The hunger pangs disappeared completely. Finally, I'm full. Touched his slightly swollen belly, Xiaozhang smiled contentedly. However, when I thought of this meal, I spent 50 yuan, and Xiaozhang was so distressed that the corners of his mouth twitched fiercely. Stood up, Xiaozhang moved slightly. He was about to turn around and leave here. Isn't it just eating a little bit more, the food cost a bit more, these are trivial things. The important thing is that the current self has obtained many supernatural powers. Moreover, I can redeem more and more powerful magical talents from games, novels, and movies through the talent panel in the future. I was destined to become the pinnacle powerhouse, standing on top of the summit, overlooking the heavens and the world. Your own eyes should be placed on the sea of stars. Don't worry about the cost of eating. Thinking of this, Xiaozhang spent 50 yuan on this meal, and his painful heart gradually became more comfortable. When passing by Lin Qingqian's table, Xiaozhang listened to the mouths of these female classmates, still belittle and laugh at himself. Accompanied by these ridicules, there are also a few undisguised disgust and sarcasm eyes that fall on him from time to time. That kind of gaze is full of the taste of superiority. Is like watching a lowly beggar on the side of the road. Ha ha! The footsteps paused slightly, and Xiao Zhang's gaze swept over the disdainful faces of these people. Finally, his gaze stopped on Lin Qingqian, who was smiling and charming. The corners of his mouth raised slightly, and Xiao Zhang shrugged. Then, he laughed softly, "You are Lin Qingqian, right? It seems that you have encountered some trouble recently. If you want to survive, you can kneel down and knock me a few more heads. Maybe, when I am in a good mood, I can consider saving your life." The voice fell, and the words stopped there, and Xiaozhang stopped saying more. Shrugged with a faint smile. He ignored the reactions of others, and moved slowly towards the outside of the Juxianjia Yuan barbecue cafeteria. "Kneel down and kowtow. Can consider saving your life." When these words were spoken casually by Xiaozhang, they were calm, but when they fell into the ears of hundreds of diners in the restaurant, it was like a thunderstorm. Blasted loudly. At this moment, everyone present had their eyes widened. His face was dull. This sudden scene that happened before my eyes made everyone in this restaurant feel that some of their brains were not enough. Even thinking ability has become a lot slower. They couldn't believe what was happening in front of them, and they couldn't believe the words they heard. They feel that they must have heard it wrong just now. There is definitely an auditory hallucination. Otherwise www.mtlnovel.com. How could I hear such absurd words? This male classmate, in addition to the surprising amount of appetite, in any other respect, he is ordinary and ordinary, looking for ordinary. If it is placed in the crowd, such an ordinary man will not make people look at it. And this female classmate is like a noble white swan. Even if people just look at it, they will feel ashamed from the bottom of their hearts. But this ordinary male classmate dared to say that when facing this white swan-like female classmate. "Kneel down and kowtow. Can consider saving your life." This extremely contrasting scene, in the eyes of anyone, will feel how ridiculous the man named Xiaozhang is. Is extremely ridiculous. And these female classmates at the table with Lin Qingqian thought that Xiaozhang must have been ridiculed, and became frustrated, dissatisfied, and irritated. Therefore, when he left the restaurant after eating, he deliberately ran over to threaten Lin Qingqian. All of them were a little bit angry for a while. Then, there were countless condemning and angry voices, which rang one after another in this restaurant. "Hey, is this Xiaozhang still a man? Even running over to threaten women, knowing that he is bullying a weak woman like us, he must be a scumbag." P.S. Thanks to the traveling scholar for rewarding 10,000 starting coins, and add another chapter for the big guy tonight. Ask for recommendation tickets, rewards, investment, collections, any support for the new book period is precious and extremely important. Bah, this Xiaozhang is not a man at all. How can a man threaten a woman? What kind of ability is this? A big master, really embarrassing. Hee, mud legs are mud legs. A man like Xiaozhang deserves nothing in his life. He doesn't respect women at all, does not respect women and rights, and he will definitely die alone in this life. The greatest ability of this kind of man is to say a few ruthless words in front of a weak woman like us, to intimidate it. There is no other ability at all. At this moment, these female classmates are all aggrieved. Even their eyes are slightly red. The glittering tears seem to flow down the corner of his eyes. Each of these female classmates stood at the commanding height of morality and accused Xiao Zhanggang of shameful behavior. Is just like Xiao Zhang's fluttering sentence just now. Just insulted and insulted them all. They seem to have forgotten one thing, that is, they laughed at Xiao Zhang for more than half an hour, taking Xiao Zhang's food, appetite and part-time job as jokes, and they were extremely ironic. And when Xiao Zhang faced these thousands of ridicules, from beginning to end, he did not speak for himself. He just said a word casually when he was leaving. Among the verbal abuse of several female classmates, only Lin Qingqian did not say a word. At this time, Lin Qingqian's face was as pale as paper. Even the delicate red lips are not even bloody. Her eyes were staring at the direction where Xiao Zhang was leaving. The hands that Lin Qingqian placed under the table suddenly clenched tightly. Even, because of the strong force, the nails that had to do the manicure pierced her palm fiercely, causing her a piercing pain. Soon, a trace of scarlet blood appeared in Lin Qingqian's palm. However, her gaze has never shifted from the direction where Xiao Zhang left. The reason why Lin Qingqian was so gaff is because the words Xiao Zhang said when he left was like a sharp sword. Stabbed the deepest part of her heart fiercely. Could he really see it? But how could Xiao Zhang see it? But, if he hadn't seen it, how could he know? How could he say that to himself when he left? You need to know, no one knows this matter except yourself. Do not. Xiao Zhang must have seen that something is wrong with him, he must have seen that he is in that unknown danger. Furthermore, this Xiao Zhang also said that once he is in a good mood, he can consider saving her life. In other words, Xiao Zhang is capable of saving her. At this moment, Lin Qingqian, like a drowning person who accidentally fell into the water, finally suddenly found a life-saving straw at this moment. Qingqian, don't be afraid of this waste, as long as you say something casually in the School of Economics and Management, you can make this Xiao Zhang unable to mix in the academy. That's right. Let alone the School of Economics and Management, in the entire Chengdu University, I don't know how many men are willing to serve us cleanly. Yes, you can ruin the 4-year career of Xiaozhang University with just one sentence. It's just a toad at the bottom of the well. It dares to provoke the white swan on the horizon. It's really reckless. I must teach him a good meal. The voices of his companions screaming and embarrassing, made Lin Qingqian, who was a little disheartened, slowly regaining a trace of clarity. Several young and familiar faces, with a deliberate flattery to please himself, and a mockery of Xiaozhang who had just left, were all reflected in Lin Qingqian's eyes. Lin Qingqian's heart couldn't help but suffocate for a while. Shut up all to me! Who is the toad at the bottom of the well? What was unexpected to everyone present was that Lin Qingqian not only failed to accuse Xiaozhang with these female classmates. Instead, she made them shut up in desperation, silence. Looking at Lin Qingqian, who had an extremely ugly face, in the Juxianjai Yuan barbecue restaurant, he immediately fell into a deathly silence. After a while, a pair of puzzled eyes, from various positions in the restaurant, a little sluggishly condensed on Lin Qingqian's body. Among the hundreds of people present, no one would have thought that Lin Qingqian reacted like this. After all, the unceremonious words that Xiaozhang just said were facts that the people present had seen with their own eyes. However, to everyone's surprise, Lin Qingqian not only refrained from accusing Xiaozhang's unceremonious words, but uncharacteristically defended it. The scene that happened before my eyes made everyone in the restaurant feel unbelievable. To know, before this, among the people in the Juxianjai Yuan barbecue restaurant, it was Lin Qingqian who mocked Xiaozhang the most. But, what is going on in this scene? Everyone is a little confused. Hey! Lin Qingqian took a deep breath. She has been calm for a while, she has no time to take into account her attitude just now, the consternation caused to these people present, will it hurt the feelings between herself and these girlfriends? All these kinds of things are not important. Is not important at all. She wants to catch up with this Xiaozhang now, begging Xiaozhang to save her life. This is the most important thing. Is more important than anything. Stood up, Lin Qingqian hurried to the direction of the store. However, Lin Qingqian, who hurriedly ran outside the store, was extremely desperate to find that Xiaozhang was no longer visible outside. Xiaozhang's slender and tall back disappeared into the crowded intersection. No matter how far Lin Qingqian was at this moment, he couldn't see it anymore. The female classmates who were dining at the same table with Lin Qingqian were all a little at a loss after facing Lin Qingqian's sudden anger. The time they have known Lin Qingqian is not too short. They rarely see Lin Qingqian getting angry. Especially, this is the first time I have seen such a big fire. After a little hesitation, these female classmates couldn't help but glance at each other, and then exchanged glances. Then, these female classmates also hurriedly got up. Ran to the outside of the store together. Although www.mtlnovel.com Lin Qingqian's words just now are really hurtful. These people, because Xiaozhang was threatening her before leaving, kept insulting Xiaozhang. But, he did not expect that Lin Qingqian would be angry with them for that Xiaozhang. However, these girls, they are hoping to get to know a few rich second generations through Lin Qingqian. Naturally, this is not the case. But, when they ran to the door of the restaurant in a few quick steps, but stopped all of a sudden. Their pitch-black pupils shrank fiercely at this moment. A touch of astonishment, from the depths of their eyes, madly spread out. Like a spider web, in an instant, this horrified color covered the cheeks of these girls. The reason why these female classmates are so gaff at this moment is because the scene that caught their eyes is really shocking. They never dreamed that this kind of scene would happen. I saw that the eye was always above the top. As soon as she enrolled, she was called the first beauty in the School of Economics and Management. She was proud like a noble white swan, and Lin Qingqian, who was pursued by many rich second generations in the school. At this moment, on this bustling street with people coming and going, but sitting on the ground, howling and crying, attracted countless passers-by who all stopped and paid attention. In everyone's eyes, Lin Qingqian now looks like the most humble ugly duckling. In a panic. P.S. Lin Qingqian is dead or alive. Do you want to save it? Dear readers, you can leave a message here and leave a few more recommended tickets by the way. Back to the rented house, Xiaozhang carefully closed the doors and windows, and then locked them back. Also closed all the double curtains on the window. After making sure that no one can see the scene in the room, Xiaozhang nodded in satisfaction. Then, he returned to his room and sat cross-legged on the bed. Talent! Accompanied by a soft whisper, resounding above Xiaozhang's heart. Immediately afterwards, the talent panel radiating purple light slowly appeared in front of Xiaozhang's eyes. Name, Xiaozhang Age, 18 years old. Gong method, the 0th level of heaven. Swallowing magic skill level 0 of the immortal art of heaven. The 0th level of the original true solution. Indestructible sutra level 0. Ancestral dragon scripture level 0. Burning technique level 0. Skills, the first level of Dai Tian Long. Package, none item, a chance to merge the exercises. Experience value, 12. In this talent panel, this moment just emerged. Xiaozhang's gaze was on it, quickly passing. In the end, his gaze was fixed on those exercises. The Unbreakable Heaven Kung Fu is the most powerful practice created by the ruthless emperor after he has exhausted his talents throughout his life. After practicing this Indestructible Heaven Gong, you can fade away the demonic body and transform into a divine fetus, condense the flawless chaotic body, and become the first emperor. It is a true emperor's classic. The flawless chaotic body, this special physique, even if it is placed in the heavens, the universe, and the stars, it is definitely the strongest physique. It can be said that this indestructible heavenly art should be the strongest emperor ruthless master, and it is slightly stronger than that heaven-swallowing magic art. Xiao Zhang's hot gaze paused slightly after the unbreakable heavenly gong. His gaze shifted slightly downward. In the end, it fell on the ancestral dragon scripture. According to the knowledge points learned by Xiao Zhang from watching Yuan Zun, this ancestral dragon scripture is the most powerful exercise in Yuan Zun's great world. Known as I have a mysterious yellow gas, which can swallow the sky, the sun, the moon, and the stars. Yuan Zun Great World, that is a world that holds the power of the universe. You can move mountains in one go, pour the sea, shake the sky, and palm the universe. The world origin Qi is divided into 9 ranks, the 3rd rank is called Xian, the 6th rank becomes heaven, and the 9th rank is holy. Legend has it that when the world was opened up, there was a life of spirit born, known as the ancestor dragon, swallowing the sky, but the supreme existence, the ancestor dragon finally incarnate all things, and since then, many lives have appeared in the chaotic world. On the broken bones of the ancestral dragon, there is a record of the most powerful exercises, which is the ancestral dragon scripture. It is said that you can cultivate origin Qi that surpasses the 9th rank. Thinking of the various records about the ancestral dragon scripture in the book Yuan Zun, Xiao Zhang couldn't help but feel fascinated. This burning technique is also very powerful, and it is also a growth technique. In the beginning, Fenju was only the lowest level cultivation technique, but it can evolve infinitely by swallowing the different fires, and eventually, it becomes the strongest technique in the great world. The biggest advantage of this technique is that it can merge a variety of different fires to form an emperor flame, and then absorb the powerful flames in the great world, making the emperor flame more and more overbearing. Hey! Slowly spit out the turbid breath in his chest, Xiao Zhang's turbulent heart calmed for a few minutes. His gaze moved a little again, and he looked at the primitive true solution. This exercise should be the most powerful of the 6 top exercises Xiao Zhang obtained from the novice gift package. It is rumored that this technique has the ability to turn decay into magic. The Huangtian Emperor Shi Hao in the perfect world, with this technique, rose from the end of the era to become the strongest emperor of the eternal arbitrariness. His life has been the ultimate glory, creating endless legends. Even, Huangtian Emperor Shi Hao pioneered the sky-blocking method in the era of blocking the sky, giving posterity a chance to surpass. The 2 techniques of swallowing the devil gong and the immortal technique, in essence, are the top techniques that were born out of the sky's haking technique. Original true explanation, this is the most powerful technique that directly points to the quasi-immortal emperor. Placed in the heavens and the universe and the stars, this primitive true understanding is definitely the most advanced existence. Was silent for a moment. Xiao Zhang's gaze slowly moved away from the column of martial arts. Finally, his gaze fell on the handwriting in the item column. This moment, in Xiao Zhang's black eyes, there was a hot flame, which was completely ignited in an instant, as if it could burn everything. I saw, in the item column, there is only a simple line of small words: Gong Law Fusion Opportunity once. Sky Swallowing Magic Power, Immortal Heaven Power, Primitive True Interpretation, Immortal Scripture, Ancestral Dragon Scripture, and Burning Technique. Any of these 6 exercises are extremely powerful and have their own unique effects. If I merge these 6 exercises www.mtlnovel.com into one exercise, then how powerful will this new exercise that incorporates various unique effects be? Xiao Zhang licked his chapped lips. In his heart, immediately, countless stormy waves were set off. Can't calm down at all. The swallowing magic power swallows everything, and the achievement lacks chaotic body. The metamorphosis of the immortal heavenly power condenses the flawless chaotic body. The mysterious and yellow gas of the Zilongjing can swallow the sky, the sun, the moon, and the stars. Fenju's fusion of various fires, the characteristics of infinite evolution. The immortal scriptures always exist in the world, almost immortal. The original and true interpretation of the avenue can turn decay into magic. If all of these can be integrated, Xiaozhong would not even dare to imagine how amazing the new technique is. I believe that even Huangtian Emperor Shi Hao, or Ruthless Emperor, such a strong man who stands on top of the top, faced this brand new exercise method that combines 6 exercises. Will also at all costs. When he thought of this, Xiaozhong felt his blood boil. Even his face flushed a bit because of this. His heart is full of expectations for the brand new exercises formed by the integration of the 6 strongest exercises. Forget it, it's useless to think too much, it's an urgent matter, I'll hurry up and merge the exercises. P.S. Thanks to Broken Sword for recasting the night for rewarding 1000 starting coins, and thank you Xin Yalan for rewarding 100 starting coins. Thank you SSHHYY0369 for rewarding 10,000 starting coins. Tonight, add another chapter for the boss.